with everything that I have going on, I find myself always saying like, okay, I'm gonna record tomorrow, I'm gonna do content tomorrow, I'm gonna do content this day and the next day, and I never really do, right? So I'm just bringing you guys along with me today, and we're gonna talk about debt. So debt is like a very touchy subject with a lot of people, and for various reasons that I'm not gonna personally go into. But while I sit here and I put another layer of stain on my table, we're gonna talk about it, right? And so I will be looking at my other phone over here because I have my notes there. I said I needed to just go ahead and record while I was doing something because I'm always doing something, and I literally have my hands in so much stuff that I'm going back to, turn off my phone for X amount of hours a day just so I can just tune into the things that I really need to do. So again, that's why you guys are along with me while I'm staining my table just so I can get this content out. I have a few things in the queue. Real quick, if someone can teach me how to screen record on an Asus Windows 10 laptop, please do, because I have a really great video that I need to screen record, but I don't know how to do that, okay? So with debt, right? Debt is basically when you owe money or you owe creditors. Debt could, be attached to credit cards. Debt could be attached to, and this is not a shot to anybody, but it could be attached to consumer items, speakers, furniture, mortgages, car loans, just anything where you owe somebody, you have to pay that back, right? Okay, so getting out of debt. When I was a young airman, y'all, I was like thousands and thousands of dollars in debt, right? Because in my mind, a credit card was like, oh my goodness, like I have all this money. No, you don't. The bank has all that money, and you have to repay that if you don't have the cash to cover your expenses, right? And so what really started getting my wheels spinning was we had a couple in my office, Annette and Dean, I believe. They would speak to me about, or just say different things, and my mind started just I started thinking about stuff. And then I had just my coworkers around me, shout out to Bill Air Force Base, shout out to Bill, shout out to those 2 departments I had. That's where I think my foundation for financial literacy really started, and it's just taken off from there. So anyway, I'm not gonna go specifically into debt, but as of right now, aside from my mortgage, I have no consumer debt. I wrote down ways to get out of debt, and this may sound hard to some people, but baby steps, right? It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Yeah, it may have took you a sprint to rack up that debt, but unless you generate or increase your income, limit your spending, it's a marathon to get out of debt, right? So you want to cut all your unnecessary expenses, starting with your streaming services. Do you really need your streaming services? Think about all the time that you spend where you can maybe be doing the thing that you always wanted to do, learning a new craft, something like that. Cut out the streaming services. Eat at home, pack your lunch, aka meal prep. Write a list when you grocery shop, that way you're less prone to impulsively buy. I like to write out my grocery list by the meals that I'm going to make, so that could be something that you do. Okay. So this is something that I've done many times. Keep your receipts for a quarter, and a quarter is 3 months if you don't know, and you will be disgusted at how much you spend on unnecessary things. Okay, you can do this electronically, with Mint or Personal Finance, or not Acorns, but it's another app you can use to track all your expenditures, but you have to link all of your accounts to the app. But you will be disgusted by how much you spend, guys, I promise, okay? So kind of going back to earlier, another way to get out of debt is to generate income via a side hustle. So that could be DoorDash, a beauty line, that could be selling, hair and stuff, doing beauty services, selling merchandise, apparel, vending machines, different kind of things. Basically, bringing in income other than whatever your W-2 income brings, and other income generating activities. And so this one is really big for me, right? So the next one is get intentional about your method of attack for paying off your debt. Okay, so that all that debt I was in was between 2013 and 2016, right? And I knew, and even though it didn't work out this way, I knew that I wanted to get out and go to school, right? So what does that look like? That looked like me being on the GI Bill, because at the time I didn't understand side hustles and generating income outside of my W-2. I just didn't. That's just not the background that I came from. I didn't know about that. So in my head, I knew that I needed what the GI Bill was going to cover to be more than what I was going to be spending on bills. So what does that mean? That means I needed to get rid of my debt. So fortunately, with the help of 2 deployments and some scholarships, because sometimes I receive the excess of my scholarships, though it does have tax implications, that helped me pay off everything. Credit cards, my car, and now I actually pay bills up in advance. Like my life insurance, I paid that for annually. My car insurance, I did that 6 months. And I'm going to continue to do that just because it just better helps me manage my finances. And even when I was active duty, I got paid once a month. Yes, it's the same paycheck, that's twice a month. But as far as like paying down my debt, getting paid once a month, like, helped me out. Now, if you're a regular civilian, I don't know if your employer has it to where you can get paid once a month. But let me get off my tangent, y'all. But you get what I'm saying. Okay, so when I was in a ton of debt, I used the Vertex debt reduction calculator, and it's only a tool that will work if you make it work, if you use it, if you're intentional about it. And I'm gonna drop that in the show notes so you guys can use it. It's been updated over the years. I found out about this in like 2015, 2016. I freaking love it. If I had debt, I would use it. I love it. Like, just seeing the numbers, and you can do the avalanche method, the snowball method. I freaking love it, guys. I think getting intentional about getting out of debt is really hard, but you have to look at what present you is doing and where future you wants to go for you and your family, okay? And what's going to drive you is your why, what you're motivated about. And if you're not motivated, you're not going to do nothing about it. So going back to earlier where I said I knew that I wanted to go to school, I was motivated by not being bogged down in debt or having the stress that comes with financial hardship. Like, I'll say this, I'm not balling or anything, but for those who know me, you know that I've been off work since November. Granted, I was getting paid for a few of those months, but being out of debt is kind of what helps me do kind of what I do. You know, you kind of follow me, you know, I be all over the place. I be this state one day, over here one day, and I love it. I freaking love it, because the things that need to be handled are done, right? And a part of that was because I'm out of debt. I'm not bragging. I promise I'm not bragging. I won't be bragging until I get this mortgage paid off. But it's mentally, it's been great, because I know people who've gotten out and finances are the main thing that they worry about. So that's why I really harp on it, okay? Anyway, the last thing I'm going to say is rainy days can be tornadoes, and I would love for you to be prepared for it, right? So 2020, COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs, right? A lot of people lost their jobs because, you know, we were just uncertain about what was really going to come of the pandemic, and a lot of people saw financial hardships, and a lot of people had to apply for these programs. And don't get me wrong, y'all, I understand that in some cases you just don't have the means to save. But I just want to, the reason that I even made this channel is not for people that already know it. This is for people who just probably never thought about it in the way that I'm presenting it. Because I think I've said it before, you can hear the same thing 10, 20, 50 times, but maybe the way that it's presented one particular time is what blows your mind, and a light bulb comes off. Like, I'm going to go over this in another video that I already have queued up for you guys, but I just want to give value where I can, and if it helps at least one person, I'm totally fine with that, okay? All right, so the last thing is, I'm not saying money is everything. I'm not. But we know that it can solve a lot of problems, okay, guys? So that's just my main point of debt. Debt can bring on so many unwarranted issues, and I hope that what I said in this video turned on a light bulb for somebody. I'm not saying I'm debt averse, But this ties into my last videos about scholarships. The more scholarships you can get, the less debt your babies or you will be, you know, if you have to foot that educational bill, you know, to get a job that's paying $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with it. I'm not. But you want to look at, are you still going to be carrying that debt load? You know, will you still have debt service 20, 30 years from now? I'm pretty sure if I polled 10 to 20 people who are still paying on student loans, they probably would have said, oh, I wish I would have went harder on scholarships back when I had the time. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I know it's hard talking about finances. I know it's hard talking about debt. But one thing I will always be with you guys is transparent. And this is coming from someone who's been in debt themselves. Like like interest fees, like out the whoo-hoo. But anyway, yeah, when we know better, hopefully we'll do better. I'm still working on that. I'm working on practicing when I preach, and I'm working on being more consistent. But I will never put out content that I have never personally encountered or endured myself. Okay, guys, so I hope you guys have a rocking rest of your week, and Jessica's out.